All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is a live test of the broadcast of Newbie Tuesday. And of course, I will start with usual technical difficulties. So it's just going to be the usual intro and an intro will play, and then I'll start. Hey everyone, welcome to Newbie Tuesday. This is where you're going to learn where you can be a better player. And today, we're just going to talk about some of the matches that was just played in the last week's Bronze, Silver, Gold tournament. Now, the thing is you can always focus on fundamentals, and actually the easiest way to point out glaring faults in your fundamentals is to watch lower level replays. You want to watch higher level replays for the little nuggets of very brilliant play, which is what makes StarCraft 2 so interesting to watch. But if you are a platinum on low tier diamond and you want to move to the high tier diamond, usually your mistakes are similar to Bronze, Silver, Gold League mistakes in the sense that you don't fulfill the three fundamentals of StarCraft, which would be scouting, effective scouting, and then after that would be macro. You don't produce enough workers, or you don't produce enough buildings to make army. Or the third one, which is also the most glaring one, which I actually see a lot of lower tier diamond players actually struggle with, is they don't upgrade. Upgrades take usually anywhere from 2 to 4 minutes to finish, and most matches are over in 12 minutes. But you don't understand that if you had +1 attack, +1 armor, or 2 attack, 2 armor, it makes such a huge difference. Like for example, a Zealot with no upgrades will take 3 hits to kill a Zergling. But if it has 1 attack, kills it in 2. Same with Roaches. If a Roaches has no attack, it would kill a Zergling in 3 hits. If it had 1 attack, then it will take 2. But if the Zergling had 1 carapace, then the Roach would go back, the Zealot would go back to taking 3 hits to kill. So upgrades help so much in the mass battles that you don't see it. You usually throw it down to, oh, I didn't have the right army composition, or oh, it was bad building placement, oh, it was bad unit positioning, oh, the force fields, or the fungal growth. Yes, all those matter, but it is actually the fundamentals that hurt you more than everything. Like a lot of the times I see Zergs would suicide their army into a lot of Marine Marauder, and then they utterly fail at that. Because, well, maybe if you needed 5 more Banelings. If you had 5 more Banelings, 10 more Zerglings, you probably had crushed that army, not a problem. And we'll actually see one of the games actually have that. But you're like, okay, how do I get the extra 5 Banelings? How can I get those extra 10 Zerglings? Well, if you first you scouted properly, you would have seen the Marine Marauder coming, so you would have prepared. If you had the macro enough, if you had the resources enough, if you had your Baneling nest early enough, if you had your Baneling speed upgrade, then you would have been better to handle it. If your creep spread was good. I'm also talking a lot of Zerg fundamentals, is because I play Zerg, but also the other races can learn from it as well. And the third is, like for example, if your Banelings had 2 attack, they just do so much damage, to Marine Marauders, even if they're not upgraded. But anyways, let's go into the game. So here we are. And I might actually just use this as the actual, because this is just supposed to be a trial. But here we do have, I'm just going to ×2. For all the replays, it's going to be ×2, because we're not really going to look at what they've done, but what we can learn out of it. So remember, I picked this game because it's all about the fundamentals of scouting. Now notice the first scout out here by Phoenix. He's going to come over here and see, okay, there's not going to be a very early wall-off. But note the position. We're going to follow this SCV, because in this game, Phoenix does something pretty interesting. Now, this is in the semifinals, and there you go. What does he see? He sees a whole ton of drones. Now, never mind that these drones were chasing the SCV, but look at this. This is a 12 pool all-in. Now, I'm just going to pause here. Imagine, notice Johnny was able to throw down 3 supply depots. Imagine if this SCV was not there to scout, and this cheese would have worked by Phoenix. But as we can see over here, because he was actually able to pick off one of the SCVs, and pick off this other SCV, but these SCVs were able to kill off that one drone and repair. And if we're going to pause the game here, looking at the harvester count, we do see our Zerg hero does have 2 extra harvesters, but remember he's lost all that mining time. If you're looking at in terms of resources spent, Terran is firmly ahead in 300 minerals, and at the 2-minute mark, with this kind of cheese, yeah, that's going to make a big difference. So he's severely behind. Phoenix is severely behind. No Clip Johnny's just going to go back and macro up, and then they're going to say law fail. But the interesting thing is, looking at the harvester count, it is now Johnny's caught up a little bit. He's constantly making SCVs, brilliant. And what is Phoenix doing? He is going to get early gas. So it's kind of like a modified 14 pool, but there's an interesting thing that here I want you to note. So Johnny knows he's ahead. He knows he's ahead because of the failed cheese. So he's going to, I'm going to times 4 here, he's going to open up with 2 racks aggression. Now this is really brilliant, but in terms of, I would highlight the second point here in terms of macro. So scouting worked out for Johnny. He was able to scout the cheese. Second thing is macro. So now if you look over here, we do have a bunker up. Now, brilliant play. Now let's stop over here. Phoenix has 8 drones mining. He's forced to pull 4 drones wanting to kill that bunker, which is also correct play. But what is Phoenix is forced to do? He's forced to throw a spine, and basically what Johnny is saying, you're behind. Make Zerglings. Don't make drones, you know. In your face pressure. Meanwhile, in Johnny's base, non-stop building SCVs. Okay. He's thrown out a 3rd rack, he's going to be ahead. Now, if you notice the harvester count, he is 2 harvesters ahead. We're going to see that climb up because right now, Phoenix is forced to make nothing but Zerglings. Nothing but Zerglings, okay? I'm going to slow this down a touch. Okay, the Spine Crawler comes up. We got Mariners being popped out. He's going after the spawning pool. Now, this is, I'm not going to pick on this, but this is just something for you to note. If you're ever in this situation, and you've got the Zerg on the back foot, and he has no units yet left, you should be picking off important units like the Queen. You should be picking off coming over here and killing the drones. Going after the spawning pool with 1,000 health, when there's tasty drones at 40 health, you could severely cripple the Zerg right now. But never mind, that's not the point of this. We're just going to speed it up a little bit. So we go, here we go, once again, forced to make nothing but Zerglings. No Clip Johnny is 2 harvesters ahead. The Spine Crawler is forced to unburrow very nicely. Able to do that, and the Spine Crawler goes down. Now look, you're firmly ahead. You are 3 harvesters ahead. You've got lots of production buildings. You've got lots of Marines. You've got energy for mules. You're firmly ahead. Okay? So what you need to do is what Day9 always says, what Artusis always says. If you're ahead, stay ahead. Make sure you stay ahead. So you put out a lot of pressure. Now, Johnny has 2 choices now. Oh, I was actually able to kill off quite a few Zerglings. I killed off the spine. I could win. Should I gamble if I win? So he has Marines streaming across, and that's exactly what he's going to do. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Marines, okay? These 5 Marines that are coming across. Let's say these 5 Marines stayed in base, okay? Let's stay in base. Let's never mind these 2. So these 2 Marines hop in here. They're forced to retreat. Look at him. Look at that. Look at the production. 8 Zerglings, 4 Banelings, no drones being made. Because Phoenix has to do this. Because if he doesn't make Zerglings, if he doesn't make Banelings, because of the Banelings nest, very nice positioning by the way, hiding it. If he doesn't make it, he's going to lose. You know. So if you're looking at a harvester count, still 3 harvesters ahead, still making SCVs. Now. And then here comes the first of the 5 Marines. There are another 3 Marines coming out across the field. So that's 8 so far. So we're going to see over here, Johnny actually overcommitting and throwing his lead away. If you look at that right now, pausing, he is 5 harvesters ahead. But now, okay, all the Zerglings pop. Okay. Alright. Here comes the Baneling, here comes the counter. And all these Marines are going to die. All these 8 Marines. Now imagine if those 8 Marines were over here. 11 pushes. And then because you see, No Clip Johnny was so adamant about winning, you know, he threw his advantage away. So remember, let's come back to the 3 points. I'm going to pause here. Effective scouting, macro, and upgrades. Okay, upgrades doesn't make a difference in this game, but in terms of macro, right, you're ahead. Stay ahead. So you know he made a lot of Zerglings. Okay. He's probably going to make Banelings for your Marines. Okay. You have 4 barracks. Let's transit into Marauders. You could even transit into Reapers, because Reapers could deal very well with the Banelings and also deal very well with the Zerglings. But Reapers are not so popular and they're very gas intensive. So we look over here. Oh, NoClip actually does have 2 gas, so he could support some Reapers. But I would recommend Marauders. So imagine if he saved those Marines and he got Tech Labs. Now you're concerned about a Banelings bus. So the question is should you be concerned about a Banelings bus? Because you have severely pressured the Zerg. You are 6 harvesters ahead. He's made a lot of Zerglings, but only Zerglings. So imagine if he made Tech Labs on this, and he has 3 or 4 Marauders right now, along with the 11 Marines that he has. You come here, put pressure, force him to make units that you then, because of your effective scouting, because essentially you're in his base, you see he has Marines. No, sorry. You see he has Zerglings. You see he has Banelings. Okay. Make Marauders. And there is a fundamental question of a lot of people ask is, when do I stop my attack? Like for example, like NoClip Johnny, he sent 2 Marines to go inside the bunker. He sent 3 more Marines, and then that's why I said, okay, maybe stop. Then he sent 3 more, and he wasted those 8 or 9 Marines. The question is I'm producing Marines nonstop from my barracks. When should I stop? Well, that comes down to number 2 in terms of macro. Like, the question is not when you should stop. The question is, what do you want to accomplish by your attack? By sending out those early Marines when you know you had the advantage, the definite point in your attack should be, I want to force him to make a lot of Zerglings. I want to force him to spend drones on making Banelings nests, force him to spend drones mining gas so he can get Banelings. I want him to make spine crawlers. That should be the plan. If you accomplish that, salvage your bunker, retreat. You've done your job. Instead, we're going to see Johnny here in a little bit of a problem. And over here, 4 times, the Zerglings are just going to come here and check. And then, okay, boom, boom, boom. You're losing the supply depots. Not a big deal. The Zerglings do peak, and the thing is because now for the rest of the next 5 minutes, 0 scouting by the Terran. And because there's no scouting by the Terran, except for maybe a comstat here later on when this hatchery goes up, hiding this command center. Okay, I'm not going to pick on that because that's not the point. The point is, okay, I'm going to pause again. No, this really feels like day 9. I understand why he pauses, is so he can not watch the screen and then he can collect his thoughts. But it's about having a plan. Okay, I have a plan that, I'm going to attack and force a couple of decisions. Force the Zerg to do something and then build the counter to that. Now it's been 3 minutes, 4 minutes since that push. Johnny still doesn't have a plan. He still doesn't know how to transit. So it's so important that you have these things in your mind that says, okay, I will pressure the Zerg, make him make a lot of Zerglings. Then I could make Hellions because he's going to have a lot of Zerglings, and that's going to be very effective. I could have Marines as stim. So once the Banelings come, I can stim my Marines. My Hellions are fast enough, then I can run shoot. Or I could make a lot of Marine Marauder. When the Banelings come, I stim my Marines and run back. That's a plan, So put out early pressure, then make another attack. Okay, if my Marine Marauder doesn't work, then while I'm making these pushes, I get a second base, I get 3 or 4 more gas. Now I can support tanks. Okay, now Marine Marauder tanks. Or Marine Marauder medvac. Works. Okay, but we're just going to see over here, NoClip Johnny has seen for 4 minutes what the Zerg has done. And hasn't made anything other than Marines. He knows Banelings are bad against Marines. Banelings are really good against Marines. Marines are really bad against Banelings. But we're actually going to see over here the Zerg has completely caught up and fully saturated, getting 4 gas, and eventually, oh, not eventually, has already gotten Spire. Looking in the production tab, we do have two mutas on the way. So I'm going to stop the game over here. We're going to go into another game. And the next game is, again, talking about effective scouting. BCG, number 2. Oh, okay, never mind, it's in this one. Where is it? Very, very interesting. Yeah, here we go. Jungle Basin Frost versus Team Australia POV. Now, in terms of effective scouting, let's go on a slightly different point, because I think I've drilled to death the idea of, know what your opponent is building and then build the counter unit. But then, if you're a Zerg, let's speed this up a little bit so I can show you the interesting part. If you're a Zerg, very easily you can say, oh, I have overlords, I can float my overlord into the base, I can see what he's doing, or I can run a Zergling over. If I am Terran, I got Comsat. If I'm Protoss, you kind of boned until you get that Observer. But what I really like Team Australia POV did this game is he used a unit that has essentially been extinct since patch 1.2. And you're going to see it in a little bit. Now remember, because of this orbital command, orbital commands for 50 energy, you can obviously drop a mule, which he has done right now, or you control a scan. Now a scan is equal to a mule. But let's say if you save that scan, what if you could get all that scouting information that the scan gives you without using the scan, essentially saving 350 minerals? What are you willing to sacrifice for 350 minerals? Okay, so you see, POV is going for bio, so he's opening with bio. So since you're opening with bio, why don't I get a Reaper? A Reaper is fast. It's like an air unit. It can jump cliffs, and it can see everything that I want to see. So we're going to see over here, TOV, instead of spending his second 50 energy on a scan, he is going to see Reaper. So we're gonna go to the cam of POV right now, and this is so he doesn't see. I'm gonna pause right here. So he sees the drone. This drone's coming out the scout. This is all he sees. This is from his initial SCV. So he sees the gateway. He sees the cyber core. He's completely blind. What does he actually have? He sees the robotics facility. He sees another gateway. So it's going to be a 3-gate robo build, which is actually really effective. And because you can get that Immortal out, Immortals are great against Marauders. So again, if you get that scouting, you can be effective about it. Make sure everything that you gather in terms of information you do. So let's go back to the POV cam, and let's see what exactly this Reaper sees. Let's make it a little bit slower. So I have no idea what he says. I know he has a cyber core. I know he has a gateway. Okay, come on, Reaper. Okay, so we're going into the base. Cyber core, robotics facility, 1 gate. Okay, not really here to do damage against the probes. 1 gateway, 2 gateway. It's going to be a 3-gate robo. Brilliant. Okay, the Reaper's going to die. It doesn't matter. What did that cost you? 50 minerals, 50 gas. And instead of seeing just this area, the Reaper is actually able to come here. Is there any hidden stargates? Is there any hidden stargates here? Is there any hidden stargates here or hidden robotics facility? The Reaper saw everything he wanted to see. And then because, look at that, POV says 3-gate robo. I'm safe, no problem. Immediately throws down a command center. This is what I'm talking about, effective scouting. You take the information that you have. You know that, okay, I built a bunker. I'm going to be perfectly safe against a 3-gate robo push. And I'm going to get my expansion. Here comes the 3-gate robo push with the Immortal. Now we are 4 Zealots, a couple Stalkers, 1 Sentry, and an Immortal. Very nice mix, but look at that. A bunker, and once again, effective scouting here. Instead, by the other person, Frost, because of that robotics facility, he was able to get the Observer out. The Observer comes out and says, ugh, okay, I can't push that. But so once I can't push that, immediately throws down the expansion. But notice this expansion just started. You can actually just see barely of a blue dot right there. What about this one? It's an orbital command already. It's practically done. Harvest account. Now, I would fault POV here. Effective scouting? Brilliant. Number 1, brilliant. Number 2, do you really need this large of an army? Do you really need concussion shells? That early? Do you really need, holy crap, do you need 8 Marauders if you're not attacking? You know your head, because when 3-gate robo, he's going to push. Why not have just 2 Marauders and get 2 bunkers, 3 bunkers. Perfectly safe. So yeah, I would fault TOV on the macro side, but in terms of effective scouting with that Reaper, brilliant play. A lot of Terrans, you guys should really use this against Zerg, against even other Terrans on certain maps with a lot of cliffs. If you're going to go bio anyway, maybe in TVT you wouldn't go bio because a lot of the metagame is tank Viking, so you kind of want to skip the bio stage. But why not? Why don't you make a barracks with a tech lab, make a Reaper, make your factory, then swap the factory with the barracks that makes a tech lab. Then while you're making the starport, get the barracks that you just lifted off to make a reactor for the starport. And you get all the scouting you need. So just, this game is going to drag on. I believe this is holy cow, it's a 24-minute game. So, but we're not going to go into that. So that's not the point. The point of this Newbie Tuesday is basically highlighting the points that you need to be aware of. And if you guys tune into Bronze Silver Gold tournament and I'm casting, we're not going to be focusing on building placements, build orders, how you position, what the positioning of unit, using abilities, fungal growth, side storm. All this is important if you are high level diamond, because high level diamond, the macro, the fundamentals are not going to set you apart because it is assumed that if you have reached Master League, assuming you didn't get to Master League by only using one build, because some people do that. But if you're assuming you reach Master League, properly, when you have a diverse amount of builds, you know how to scout, all your fundamentals are strong, then yes, the build orders, the placements of buildings and units, using of abilities sets you apart. But if you are in the lower platinums and below, low diamonds and below, your fundamentals cost you more games than anything else. So that we're going to focus on that. So we're going to pull up actually the grand finals of Bronze, Silver, Gold, and I want to essentially show you what is the difference between effective scouting. So we do have Phoenix here in the... Once again, we have Phoenix, the guy who just 12-pulled the other game. And he's against Baka Inu here in the top corner. And we're at 4 times, so we're a little bit fast. I'm going to bump it up to 6 times so we can see what we want to see. And I want you to follow this drone. We're going to go times 2. So, remember, this drone has to stay alive to see everything that he wants to see. So, I'm going to pause here. The drone has seen... Okay, he's going gas, barracks, supply depot. This tells you so much in the early game. You have to remember other people's build orders, at least the opening build orders. So if you're Bronze, Silver, Gold, what I mean by effective scouting, when you scout and you see certain buildings, it means this. It also means he cannot get that. If he got a gas this early, it means that he cannot get a second barracks. That means there's not going to be any form of 2 barracks pressure. Okay? In terms of this, on the Zerg, he got his gas before his pool. That usually tells you he's going for some kind of speedling build. If his gas is finished and his pool just started, that tells you he wants his gas even earlier than normal. That probably means he's going for some kind of early baneling strategy. If he got his pool, and his pool is almost finished, then he got his gas, that means he's going for something that needs less gas that early. That means he doesn't need that 100 gas when the pool finishes. So that usually means he's going to go some kind of roach play. Now again, high-level players will fake. They will get gas really early, and then once your worker leaves, then they'll just pull all the workers off gas, and they'll go for something different. But that's high-level play, you shouldn't focus on that. What you should focus is get your worker in there and see what he's doing. If you see gas early, it means that he's not going early expansion. Okay? So, we're going to go here. We're going to follow Mr. Drone over here. And notice that he really wants this drone dead. Why? Because right now he is... Okay, alright, let me click on that drone. There we go. Here we are with the drone. He really wants this drone dead. Why? Notice he is banking a lot of minerals right now. He's banking 150 minerals, and what you see a lot of Zerg players do is they will try to steal the gas over and over and over again. The reason is you want to basically make sure you have sight around this area, sight about this area for the extractor. It's eventually going to die. But it forces the Terran not to build anything in this area if he wants to hide it. And if he puts buildings near here, near the front, Zerglings can come and see it. If he puts buildings at the back here, this Overlord that's coming over here will be able to see it. So very nice placement. The first Overlord should be over here. The second Overlord should be over here, or maybe over here. Yeah, this over here is right, the very nice spot. But notice something. Okay, we're gonna go on the Baka cam. So this is what Baka sees. I'm gonna follow the drone. We're gonna press play. So this drone wants to stay alive. He sees the second barracks. That's normal. That's normal because it's been up for quite a while. And finally, the drone dies. Now let's look at what he says. So notice he's banked 300 minerals. Why has he banked 300 minerals? Because one, he's dropping 1, 2, 3, 4 barracks. Now the question is look at the time clock. The time clock is now 4:30. 4 minutes 30 seconds. The overlords are in place. Okay, we're just going to go. This is going to be a 4 barracks push. Now immediately, I love this play. He knows this is what you call going with a plan. I reveal to you, I am making barracks. Okay, I make a second barracks. I reveal I only have 1 gas, so there's not going to be any kind of really early pressure for factory. Maybe some Hellions, but there's no reactor. So as a Zerg, I'm not so concerned of Hellions right there. So it's because of that effective scouting by Baka, he draws on the hat trick. Love it. Great stuff. But I'm gonna fault you. 4 minutes, 30 seconds. Remember that. So we're gonna go. Let's fast forward a little bit. He's gonna build up a decent size of Marines. Notice he only got 1 tech lab, and the tech lab is purely for stim, only for stim. And notice he's pulled off all workers from gas. He doesn't need any other gas. He's going for this push. Pause. Zergling dies. Right there. So Zergling sees this push. There are 14 Marines, and he's probably still going to make Marines. The stim were finished by the time he reached this thing. Right now, it is 6 minutes, 30 seconds. This Overlord hasn't moved. So, in that window where you haven't seen what he's been doing, and it is very common for at least by 5 minutes for people to reveal what they're going, either early Hellions or 1-1-1, which would be 1 barracks, 1 starport, 1, or in this case, a 4 barracks push. A very strong 4 barracks push with a couple workers. Now, this is not cheese, okay? This is not 100% cheese, because cheese requires... cheese is a very risky strategy that if you push and it is effective, you push and it's not scouted, it will be very effective. Now, if this push and it's not scouted, which is not, it's very effective. But cheese is, if it fails, you're severely behind. Now, if you're looking at the harvester count, yes, he is 9 harvesters behind. But if this attack fails, is Phoenix in trouble? He has 4 barracks. He has a wall. He can make lots of reinforcement units rally behind his wall. Is he in a severe disadvantage? No. So this is not cheese. This is actually a very strong timing push, a very strong stim timing push. Now, right now, Baka. Actually, I don't even know if... Okay, there he goes. Finally reacting. The Marines are even on the way. This spine crawler is definitely not going to be in time. And by the time the first attack comes, 7 minutes, 15 seconds. So it has been 2.5 minutes. And right now, Baka still has no idea how many... If Baka knew how many Marines were coming on in his face, he would have probably made a Baneling's Nest. So because he only had Zerglings, he has no Baneling's Nest. He has no idea of how much early pressure it is. That is not effective scouting. He scouted. He saw the barracks, so it was effective scouting and says, okay, there's not going to be any kind of early pressure. At the 4 minute mark, I drop a hatchery. I got 9 harvesters ahead. Good stuff. After that, no more scouting. Suddenly, boom, 14 Marines, 4 SCVs in my face with stim. Did these Marines have stim yet? Yeah, stim is finished. And as you can see over here, boom, 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 boom. Marines on drugs is extremely effective. And then he completely ignores the hatchery, goes straight for the workers. And notice this. Let's go back to the cam. What's the difference between the first game and the second game we saw? Notice these Marines are not moving out. Phoenix job for that attack was to cripple the Zerg, to force him, looking at the production tab, to make lots and lots and lots of Zerglings, to make spine crawlers, to send drones to attack, to lose economy. Right now, all he has, the number of drones he has alive is 2. Was this attack successful? 100% successful. Did it have to succeed for him to come out ahead? No. He's making a command center. He has 11 more Marines back home. They still have stim. He can very easily get concussion shells. He's continuing to make Marines only, so this is a very focused attack. I actually like to see him get some more gas, transit into mech, but it doesn't matter. He's floating on 400 minerals. But notice, the thing is he macroed with a plan. So coming back to point 2. So, the scouting was effective. Well, actually, no. I'm going to say Phoenix scouting for this was completely blind, because he didn't send out a Reaper to scout. He didn't scan. Well, I don't know if he scanned or not, I didn't see it. But I'm assuming he didn't scan. He basically knew, okay, this is a strong timing push. I push with, a baker's dozen of Marines, a couple of SCVs, with stim. If I can force the Zerg to make a lot of Zerglings, even if I don't kill any drones, if I force him to make an absurd amount of Zerglings, after that, I just need to build units to counter the Zerglings and I'll be fine. So, scouting was not so good by Phoenix, but the macro, absolutely love it. And you're actually just going to see over here, Baka is going to go WTF, and look at that. He has no workers. No workers at all, and just a handful of Zerglings. So was that effective? 100% effective. Oh, and one more newbie mistake. Well, I wouldn't say it's a newbie mistake. I would just say it's a mistake. Now, just now, let's go back to what Baka was talking about, and when the drones was attacking. So, gonna slow it down a little bit. So here comes the Marines. Now notice these drones. We're gonna go to Baka's camp, so we can see this. Make it a little slower. Now, make it really slow so you can see it. Look at that. Did you see that? He clicked on the drones, and he clicked on this Marine. This Marine right here. You never ever want to do that, because basically what you're telling all these 21 drones is kill this Marine, ignore everybody else. So you're actually going to see all the drones try to kill that one Marine, and then they're like, because they can't reach that one Marine, they're kind of just like, ah, and just spazzing out. Okay, finally they A-click, and then they A-click into Doom. But, yeah. And then he goes like, lol, WTF. So, if you want to send workers to attack, make sure you A-click behind the units. Don't click on a unit. It also works for Zerglings. If you click on a unit, every single Zergling is going to try to attack that one guy and ignore everybody else. So, yeah, A-click. So, Phoenix being a nice guy, he's like, you want to remake? And then Baka's saying, no, actually I lost the game already, so pretty good. So, make sure you know that. So, I'm going to go into the final game of today's replay. And surprisingly, this is the first take. I didn't expect it to go this well. Hopefully you guys like it. Hopefully you take something from it. But I've told you there's 3 cardinal rules of StarCraft. The 3 fundamentals of StarCraft. Effective scouting. Let's speed this up. Effective scouting. Macro. And the last one we've not seen is upgrades. Now, this is a game for upgrades. Now, we're going to come over here, and we're going to ignore everything else except upgrades. Now, no, actually, we're not going to ignore everything else except upgrades. We're going to see Phoenix being very, very wise. This ramp is very slightly larger than this ramp, so if you're going to wall off, you might as well wall off here. So you're going to see he's going to open up with a double rack aggression. The drone is going to see it. So because the drone sees it, Baka is very wisely opening up with a speedling build. Now, the speedling build is the safest build that you can open into with Terran. The reason is because it counters pretty much everything that a Terran can push out early. If you push us out with early Marines, you can counter with speedlings. If you push out with Hellions, you push out with speedlings. Now, the thing is, pause. Effective scouting again. Does the drone see this? The drone see? No, he doesn't see the early expansion. Well, all he knows is 2 barracks. Possibility of early aggression. I will make Zerglings with speed. Too many Zerglings, so a little bit of overreaction. But I'm not going to fault him for that. You know, this is reacting to your scouting. This is effective scouting. He has 2 rags. I know that it was a lot of early pressure. You know, I should compensate for it. Too many Zerglings. I would like maybe a couple Zerglings here, maybe 4 or 5, and then save lava. But yeah. So what you want to do is you want to sacrifice your overlord. So where's your first overlord is here. Here's your first overlord. Here's your second overlord. Now remember, as Zerg, I mean, okay, well, it'll be pretty easy if you think about it in terms of other races. If you're Protoss, if you're Terran, you will spend money to scout. You would send probes, and then you would, if you're Protoss and you really, really, really want scouting, you either rush Stargate so you can get that Phoenix out, or you get sentries and you get hallucinate, which is very rare, or you get a robotics facility and you get observers. Now, scouting by Protoss is pretty sad. Hopefully Blizzard will fix something about it, but yeah, there's not much options. Terran, they got Scan, they got Reapers. Okay, if you are Zerg, oh, let me come back to Terran. If you're Terran and you're using SCVs, that costs money. You know, if the worker dies and all the mining time is not winning. If you scan, that costs you 350 minerals. You have Zergs. You have a freaking Overlord. It's only 100 minerals. It is a really, really good scout. And if you think about it in terms of observer, you pay 100 minerals, 100 gas, and every overlord moves at the same speed as observer. If not, I think a little bit faster. Now, an overlord base speed is only 0.5. Very slow. If you upgrade the speed, it moves to 2.5. It moves as fast as a marine. So, you know, if you are a Zerg and you struggle with effective scouting, mid-game especially, mid-game, and you have Lair, because you want to get Baneling speed and everything, get that Overlord upgrade. Because you must keep suiciding your Overlords into the other Pearson space to get that scouting so you know what to build. Especially as a Zerg because you are a reactionary race. If a Terran is going to spend gas on observers, if a Terran is going to spend minerals in terms of sacrifice mules on scans, then you as a Zerg, you better be sacrificing Overlords. But we're going to see Overlord number 2 over here. Overlord 1 is way out of position. But let's look in terms of scouting. Let's look in terms of Baka Inu's camp. So nothing. He finally drops the hatchery. Finally sends a Zergling out. Comes over here. Oh, okay, that doesn't come up the rim. Kills the Marine over there. Okay, I see 5 Marine. I see double racks. What else is on the main camp? Main camp. Okay, he's got another rack, so another 4 racks aggression. But hey, he has a command center. If he's getting a command center, he's not going to be attacking anytime soon because he wants to get saturation up. I should drone up. I should be very, very safe. And I would suicide an Overlord 1 minute later to make sure I'm still safe. But we're looking over here. 15 Harvesters against 22 by the Terran. You're already behind. Why are you behind? Because you are expecting a massive push. A push that's not going to come. So, effective scouting. But that's not the point of the last game. This last game, we're going to see a lot of Marines. So once again, Phoenix has... I'm going to make a Marine push in his mind. But we're going to very quickly see... I want to see it. There we go. Here we go. The final piece in the daily. The final fundamental upgrades. We're going to see upgrades 1-1 going to be started out. And as soon as he's getting reactors, he's making more Marines. He's getting a single tech lab just for that upgrade. So pure Marines... Now let's pause. Banelings. Interesting. So last game I know this guy likes his Marines. He went for a Marine push. 4 racks Marine push. But now it's going to be 4 racks Marine push with 1 attack and 1 armor. Stim's almost done. He's going to make a push as soon as 1 attack is done. It is, I would say by intuition or luck, that he got Banelings. Does he have speed for the Banelings? No, he doesn't even have a lair. And he is 18 Harvesters behind the Terran. He's behind in upgrades, he's behind in macro, and in terms of scouting, I don't... Okay, let's look on the cam here by the Terran. No scouting by the Terran. He has no idea what the Zerg is building. Over here, he did scan, he did see the hatchery. Okay, okay. I'm not going to be too fussed about that. Now, the thing is you're going to see Phoenix build his army, suicide it into the wrong unit mix. He's going Mass Marine versus Baneling. Okay, we're going to slow it down just a touch. So at times 8, it's really, really hard to see. So he's going to bring his army of Marines out here. There's going to be a lot of Banelings. Banelings have it. They're going to come. No, boom, 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 boom. Wrong scouting, you know? Where are your Marauders? Okay. Questionable choice. Here comes attack wave number 2. Okay. First time didn't succeed. Let's go for it again. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Maybe you might want to change your tactics because it's not being effective. But did you just see that? How long did it take? Once there were no more Banelings, did you see how long it took for those Marines to die? Why did it take so long to die? Oh my god. Terran Weapons 3? Terran's Armor 3? These Marines are too upgraded. What are the Zerglings at? 0 armor. 0. So the Marine kills the Zergling in 4 shots. Meanwhile, the Zergling does 6 attack, minus 2 armor. They only do 4 damage. They must hit the Marine 12 times to kill it. The Marine shoots the Zergling only 4 times to kill it. And because there's nothing to shoot air, you have 6 medvacs in the air because you're only making Marines, so you have a lot of gas. He's 1, 2, 3, 4 gas. So he's just pumping up mass things. So even though this is not effective scouting, you are building the wrong unit to go against Zergling Baneling. Because you have upgrades. Because you have upgrades, you are so much more effective. Now imagine if these Zerglings had 1 attack, and these Marines had only, well, not upgraded, 0. So they do 6 damage. They take, instead of 4 shots, they take 6 shots. 50% more shots to kill a Zergling. The Zergling, because it doesn't have 2 armor, it does the full 6 damage. It needs 8 hits to kill the Marine instead of 12. So it needs 1/3 less hits to do it. So because of the upgrades, it's so huge. Your Marines essentially have 50% more life, 50% more damage. So we're just going to speed it up over here. Here comes attack number 3. Now the Zerg is tapped out of gas because he only has 1 gas. He couldn't make enough Banelings. So again, that's a macro problem, but I'm not going to focus on that because that's not the point of this replay. The point of this replay is, oh my god, upgrades. You know, upgrades are so good. And then, okay, you know, a couple Banelings. It doesn't matter because if you look here, you're streaming Marines into this because, okay, we're not going to focus on economy 56, 58 over 20, but remember, upgrades are really cheap, like ridiculously cheap. An Engineering's Bay, 125 minerals. An Evo Chamber, 75 minerals with the 50 minerals for the drone, 125 minerals. For the Protoss, Forge, 150 minerals. If you are not attacking anytime soon, if your game plan is defensive, like for example, Baka Inu's game plan was defensive. I will defend against the Terran and then expand out. Okay, he didn't expand out so greatly in this match, but in the other game, it's like in the first game, I expand out, I get more bases than the Terran, I wait for him to attack, I counter his attack, then I get a large army and I crush him. That's a good Zerg plan. That's actually what you see a lot of top tier Zergs, especially Hydra. Hydra is the biggest fan of this in terms of macro play. If you are going macro play, you're definitely going to have 100 minerals, 100 gas sitting around. If you're making a Spire, that's already 200 minerals, 200 gas. You know? Upgrade your damn Zerglings. Upgrade them. Because if you are going Mutaling and you have upgraded Zerglings, they're so strong. And eventually you're going to transit in late game, if you ever get that far, into Ultralists. Ultralists share the same upgrades as Zerglings. So that's your mental path, okay? Mutaling into 2 base. I get a 3rd base. I make a Mutaling push. I couldn't break him. Okay, I take a 4th base. I get 8 gas. I transit into ultras. I will have the gas on 4 bases to transit into ultras. But meanwhile, while you're going through the entire process, get your upgrades in the same way in the Terran camp. I'm going Marines. I'm going Marine Marauder, so I should get infantry weapons. Okay? And then eventually I'm going to transit into a very strong build, which would be Viking Banshees. Because you can cloak your Banshees, and your Vikings can pick off the Overseer. And once the Overseer is dead, your Banshees kill everything. Okay, so get your infantry weapons level 1 and 2, because even when you make your push with your Viking Banshees, the meat of your army, the core of your army is still your Marine Marauders. So get your upgrades early. And then, if you're going to go airplay, then get your armory early. Get 1 attack. You don't really need armor, because you're going for cloak Banshees. You're going against killing Overseers. So get your attack, but you don't need to get your armor. This is all in terms of your general game plan. But because they take so long to build, and because they cost cheap, like really cheap, like Terran weapons level 3 is only 225 minerals, 225 gas. It's not a lot. Like right now the Terran is sitting on 1,700 gas. So he definitely has gas to spare. And his weapons 3 is almost done. I love it. So 17 minutes into the game, upgrades, almost fully upgraded Marines, and with medvacs, great stuff. So, that should wrap up the very first Newbie Tuesday. I hope you like it. I know it's a little long-winded, but I really do feel that if you really want to take StarCraft seriously, then be focused. Don't spam games mindlessly. It is coming down to the mantra of what Mothership Studios is. Work hard, play hard, be responsible, have responsible gaming. If you want to train for StarCraft 2, then train hard. Play 5 games or play 3 games, and think the only mark of success in this game is by 12 minutes I have weapon 2 weapon 2 attack, weapon 2 armor. That's all. I can lose the game horribly, but as long as I get my upgrades, that's considered a win to me. That is what you call focus gaming. If you play 3 games as Zerg, my goal by 10 minutes is to make sure my creep highway spreads into the middle of the map. I can lose the game. It doesn't matter, because my focus is for creep spread. If I am Protoss, then my objective is I want to know what my enemy is building all the time. So by 10-minute mark, I want to have 2 observers in the other guy's space. 2 observers. Okay, you can lose the game. Doesn't matter, because at least pick things that is wrong with your gameplay, and then play games. If you don't want to risk it on ladder, play custom games against your friends, and focus on that. It is one way to improve by spamming games, but it's also another way to build bad habits. You build really, really bad habits. Like, for example, one of the bad habits that I have right now is I key all my hatcheries to 5, and I key all my queens to 4. But I was talking to some top-tier Zergs, and they're like, no, HD, that's the wrong way to do it. Your first hatchery should be 4, and then second hatchery should be 5, third hatchery 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on and so forth. When you press 4-4 and you're on the hatchery, you can very quickly click on your queen anyway and inject lava. And that way, you can use your earlier hatcheries, like 4 or 5, to save lava. Just constantly inject lava, but don't use those for drone production. And then your 3rd, 4th, 5th hatchery, you key them to different kings, and then those can just constantly produce drones. And it's so hard for me to break away from that habit, because I've been spamming games with me having my old style. So be focused, practice the things that you want to do, and break as many bad habits as you can. And just tune into more Newbie Tuesdays, and then hopefully next week we can highlight more things. It will constantly be on the same trend of scouting, macro, and upgrades, but we're going to get you more Bronze, Silver, Gold League games. We're going to talk more about fundamentals, and yeah, I hope you like it. So also tune in next week. It's going to be PK StarCraft once again with me and Kelly, And that's when we're going to be talking about build orders. That's when we're going to talk about time and attacks and building placements, all the cute stuff that we love to see from the pros. That's the show for it. But this is HD Phoenix, and this has been Newbie Tuesday. I hope you guys enjoy it, and we'll see you next week.